You said 36 and 37.
You can do both.
Should we just do 37? Can I do 36 first?
Yeah.
All right. All right. What is the antiderivative if f prime is 4x to the negative 3/4? So what rule did we learn yesterday for antiderivatives of powers? We're going to add one to the exponent. What's 1 added to negative 3/4? And it had a 4 there along the ride, didn't it? And we're going to divide by the new exponent plus a constant. All right. So we have f of x. How many times is 1/4 going to 4? 16. Yeah? Should we bring a sixth grader in here to figure that out for you?
Dang.
Wow.
Four.
Let's check it. How can we check it? Take the derivative. What's a 4th times 16? 4. Ooh, beautiful. X to the negative 3. Beautiful. Plug in negative 2, 1. What's going on?
Lane's mad because I'm not smarter than him right now.
I'm not mad. I'm very indifferent. About what?
Logan's cranking over here. He's getting the right answers, and Lane's not happy about it.
Oh, okay. All right. So what's C? C is negative 18. So you should always go back up to here and say f of x is 16x to the 1/4 minus 18. And you can check that answer. You can plug in 1 for x. What do you get when you plug in 1 for x? Is this thing on?
No.
Start's here. He's ready to go. Wearing a fresh, very white Nike hoodie. Or no hoodie, just a sweatshirt. Just crew neck. He's ready to go. Questions on that one? Ooh, now on to 37. Are you girls ready for this? Help me out. Lizzie?
F prime of x equals 1 over x plus 2. And then x is greater than negative 2. And p is
That's
1, 3.
1 comma 3?
Yes.
It's kind of a squatty 3. Did anyone get this right? It was in the back of the book. Did it ruin the surprise for you? I wish this was in either. Do you recognize that guy? See, here's the thing with antiderivatives right now. If it's not a power rule, you have to say, "Oh, I recognize you. You're the derivative of so and so." Right? So, I've seen you before. You're the derivative of ln x plus 2 plus a constant. Absolute value. All right, now we'll talk about that. I don't know about this. I don't know if it's a good idea to talk about the concept of why there's an absolute value there on the day before Thanksgiving. Okay. I mean, it would be something I'd be thankful for to be able to explain it to you. But if you're not in the mood, I can understand. All right, f of x equals ln absolute value of x plus 2 plus a constant. You can double check it. What's the derivative of ln of x plus 2? 1 over x plus 2. Times 1. Plug in the point. You can drop the absolute value because 3 is always positive. So C is 3 minus ln 3. 3 minus ln 3. So our exact equation, it's called the particular solution, is ln absolute value x plus 2 plus 3 minus ln 3 is what I got. Beautiful. Beautiful. Does anyone care why there's absolute value there?
No.
Yes.
Kind
I do.
No.
It's worth explaining.
How about I give just a surface level explanation? We won't dive too deep. Okay.
We're snorkeling.
Fill in the blank. The domain of the derivative has to be blank compared to the original. Repitan, por favor. The domain of the derivative has to be blank compared to the domain of the original. Cole, we missed you yesterday.
Thank you. I know the domain has to be within, but that doesn't fit in the phrase. So
Let's kick us off. Chipotle closed tomorrow?
yeah, luckily I had to work during Halloween doing burrito. We had a line out the door all day.
Yeah,
it's fun.
So fun.
That wouldn't be a thing on Thanksgiving, but
Yeah.
Still got it close.
The domain of the original has to be blank compared to the domain of the derivative. Ooh, I didn't say it the same way. The domain of the derivative has to be blank compared to the domain of the original. Madison.
Less than or equal to?
Gold star for today. Do you want a starburst?
Sure.
What color would you like?
Pink.
Good choice.
That's a
good
good
choice.
choice.
To celebrate, I'm gonna have one for myself too. He's not proud of you.
That's a great choice.
Because guess what?
So she chose the yellow one.
If a function is continuous and smooth, they're gonna have the same domain. But if a function is sharp, the derivative won't exist at that point. The domain will be less. But it could be equal. Couldn't they be equal? So less than or equal to. Are you ready? What's the domain of 1 over x plus 2? What's the domain of 1 over x plus 2? What's the only point that's going to cause a problem there?
-2.
-2. It's all real except for -2. Do you agree? That's the derivative. What's the domain of ln of absolute value x? Nope. What's the derivative of ln of x plus 2? Well, what can go into ln's? You can't have negatives in there, can you? Can e to some power be a negative? No. Can e to some power be 0? No. So the domain of this guy is greater than -2. The domain of this guy is all real except for -2. Wait a minute. How are you going to get slopes at like -5? This function doesn't exist when x is -5. Do you agree? How are you going to get a slope there? You can't. You can't get a slope. You can't get a slope when the function didn't exist there. So we must restrict the domain of ln by putting absolute values around it. What does that do? That allows for the input for the original to have a slope at those values, because now the input can be negative. Like the inside of the parentheses that could be negative now, because absolute value will make it positive, and you'll get an output. Get an output. Get an output of slope. Does that make any sense at all? Okay. Avery, good question today.
So my question is,
Yeah.
in the question,
Yes.
it gives you a
Yes.
x is greater than -2.
Uh-huh.
So would you technically not need the absolute value?
You're absolutely correct. Would you like a starburst today?
Sure. I'm doing starburst.
If you don't want one, you can donate.
I'll say red.
What color would you like?
Pink, please. Just so you can-
Good choice.
I'm not- board up there?
This,
I actually want to know. Yeah.
we're keeping track of how many days in a row this one girl came.
Oh.
So I can figure.
Why is there like a circle and stars on the 8?
We're celebrating 8 days in a row.
Is that like impressive?
It was extremely impressive. She knows. I mark it every time she comes in class. We try to embarrass her. No, not really embarrass her. She's got the kind of personality that you can be that way. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, teacher. How we doing? Good? So you're right. It didn't need it. But when you have to do it later on, foreshadowing. When you have to do it on your own later, you will have to put an absolute value on there. Last few slides and notes, then we're done for the day. 2 slides. You guys can make your 2 slides, right? Yeah. We talk about theory tires, we got 2 slides, and we're building it. We're building a full recess. What's it called? Playground.
Yeah.
Playground.
Thank you, Wendy.
Was that your joke for today? You don't ask. Is there homework? This is for Wendy. Wendy, we're gonna miss you over here. Said, huh? Who said that? Either. Man, that's not a good one.
How about Thanksgiving?
What do you call a boomerang that doesn't work? A stick.
What do you call it? Boomerang. It doesn't work.
It's bad. I love bowling puns. They're right up my alley. I know a lot of jokes about retired people. None of them work. That's rough. I don't know. Maybe it's like a celebration. You want one more?
Sure.
Sure.
We're Thursday.
Then I'd be thankful for that.
When do you
A book fell on my head. I only have my shelf to blame. Oh, Wendy, we're gonna miss you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye, Wendy.
No homework?
All right.
Wait.
No homework.
Wendy.
Yeah.
He's a family
Let's go,
guy.
Wendy.
He's a family guy.
That was for me?
Yeah.
I've applauded before. All right, what's the antiderivative? These are all power parts, power functions. Here we go. 3x squared, antiderivative. What is it? X cubed minus x squared plus x plus c. But we want to solve for c. So 4 equals 1 cubed minus 1 squared plus 1 plus c. 1 minus 1, 0 plus 1. So subtract 1. C is 3. Just a coincidence we've gotten 3 for c quite a bit. One to go.
we go?
It's like when you're like closing out the game, you know you got it, but you don't back off. You keep the pressure on.
It's like Ohio State. I have some
Who said it? Exactly. We're running up the score right here. Okay. Show no mercy.
80 a second.
Let's like, I don't know. How would you run up the score in that? Applications, right? Ooh, run it up.
Exponential.
Run it up. All right, velocity and position. Here we go. Application, anti-differentiation. Who are my physics people in here? Just 4? Physics people? Physics, so you remember it. You remember it.
Physics 2,
Here we go. Find the velocity and position functions of a freely falling body for the following set of conditions. Ooh, are you ready? They're telling us AFT is 9.8. Now, I understand. It's supposed to be negative. Unless you're talking about it falling. Right? So, there we go. So what's it asking us for? Find the velocity, antiderivative, and position, double antiderivative. You got this, Jackson. We got this. Ready? V of t. What is it? 9.8 t plus a constant. Agreed? But wait. Can we solve for c? What do we need to solve for c? A point on the... Which function? A point on the... I couldn't hear you guys. A point on velocity, don't you? Don't you need to know what at certain time what the velocity is to solve for c? Do we know that?
Falls from rest.
Falls from rest. The velocity at 0 is 0. Jaden missed 2 of those in a row. That's unfortunate. Tony, do you appreciate it? You have to appreciate it. You're in that seat. Tyler did yesterday.
Appreciate what?
Oh, Tony! We miss you, Jaden. Come back soon. I'll make special arrangements on Thanksgiving. Come for dinner. All right. V of 0 is 0. There's no chance they're listening to this. Is there?
No.
Would Jaden listen?
He's in like Mexico, probably not.
All right. Well, guess what, guys? If t is 0 and v is 0, what's c?
0.
That wasn't necessary. It was, but it didn't end up being necessary. Are you ready? It also said to find the position. We call it S of t in calc. Oh, your minds are already blown. Are you ready? What's the antiderivative of 9.8t?
T squared.
Good. So add 1 to the exponent squared and then divide by the new exponent 2. And half of 9.8 is 4.9 t squared plus a constant. Are you with me? Do you guys know that formula? 1/2 at squared? All because of acceleration. Look at that. Calculus and physics commingling. Come on. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Can we find C there? What would you need to know to find that C? A point on a position, right? At a certain time. Are we told anything like that? No, we can't solve for that C. Next one. The acceleration is 9.8. Okay, AFT. Nope. I want blue. Gotta stay consistent. All right, V of t. We already have the template. V of t is 9.8t plus a constant. It has a downward, it's propelled downward with a velocity of 1 meter per second initially. Initially means when t is 0. So we have the point on velocity of 0, comma. Should we put -1?
But that's acceleration negative as well.
I like that. I like that. 0 and 1. I take back everything I said about you.
It's the corner of knowledge.
It is. I like this. I like this. Well, let's solve for C there. If V of 0 is 1, then C is. You guys agree? If we solve for, plug in 1 for velocity and 0 for t, we get C is 1. So now, this becomes 1. S of t. 4.9t squared plus t, because the derivative of t is 1, plus c. Tony, you getting this down?
Yeah.
Lane, is he getting it down?
Yeah.
See?
No starburst for you.
That's all right.
No starburst. But you are looking comfortable. I'm kind of cold. I wish I had a second layer on like you guys do a lot. It's one of those days where a second layer would be nice. You guys cold?
Comfortable. Yeah.
Can we solve for that? C. We don't have a position. We don't have a given position. Isn't this a beautiful application of antiderivatives? Look at that. If you know what your gravitational constant is, you could find the velocity function. That's where your they call them the big four in physics. What do you guys call them? Big four? Big 10? That's football. Big. Don't you guys have like main equations? You call it big whatever?
Don't have a name.
Big sheet.
No, I think the old teacher must have. A big sheet. Sounds intimidating. I guess there's no homework. I mean, did you guys want homework?
No.
Classwork to stay busy?
No.
They said no to the homework.